Hello and good evening and welcome to the ANZCAR Thunder Series race at Bristol, round 4 of 11 and season 3, brought to you by ANZCAR and Performance Streaming. My name is Matt Hunter and so far I am here by myself. I'm not sure if we're going to have some guests to jump up in the booth or not, but if we do that'll be great, but we'll just see how we go. So the qualifying session has just started, so drivers are out there now just putting in their qualifying laps. So if we just have a little bit of a look and see if we can find ourselves a driver to follow. So Ruben Phillips will follow here. He's going for his qualifying lap. And while we're just watching him in the background go for his qualifying lap there, I will bring up the information, show you a bit about the track at Bristol Speedway. So it says 1 mile there on the graphics there, but I'm pretty sure it was a half-mile oval. Yeah, concrete surface as well. And let's have a little look at the weather, our weather conditions. So it is a night race tonight. Air temperature of 31 degrees Celsius and track temperature of 32 degrees Celsius as well. So don't expect that to go up too much, probably come down with the night temperature. And drivers are still just finishing off their laps there. What we might do is we might just have a quick look at the season points as it stands. Get the right graphic. So, good start to the season so far for Josh Mickelmore in first place there. Hamish Gallagher, after a bad first race, he is clawing his way up there to second, but he is actually away tonight. I believe he is over in overseas in Australia. Normally he's in New Zealand. So this will be a drop round for him, and that'll be his 2 drop rounds done. So he'll be hoping for a good, strong finish to the remaining races. Matty Ray sitting there in third spot, having a good run so far as well. Jamie Nankervis, Stephen Williams, and making up the top 5. We've got a few drivers there that are sort of even on points. So we've got a little bit of double ups there in scores. So that's our points table there. And drivers are we're just finishing up on qualifying. Most of the drivers have qualified. Josh McElroy has finished. We've only got 3 drivers who have not qualified so far. Of course, this is round 4, of 11. You can drop 2 rounds out of the first 9 races, and then the 10th and 11th race cannot be dropped. So if you're going to take your drop rounds, you've got to take them in the first 9. And it's been a pretty long year, pretty long season, and it's sort of coming up to a conclusion here. With this being the 4th race after this, there will only be 7 races or 7 weeks to go. And I know a few of the drivers will be looking forward to a bit of a break, as will the admins. So just having a look here. I've got sitting there in the pits, but he has done 2 laps, so he has done his qualifying. So I think we've seen the majority of the drivers complete their qualifying laps. Let's just see. Of course, another 10 seconds or so to go, and then we might start looking at bringing up the grid. Doesn't look like the last 3 cars are going to do an attempt at a qualifying lap. Just got to wait for it to kick over to the right session. Refresh your graphic here. Okay, let's see if we get the correct information. We do. Oh, we just got an alert about the live timing may not be working properly. Just double checking that live timing is working correctly, so that's good. Right, so coming off the pole position, just if we can get it all set up, will be Josh McCall, and on the outside of him will be Stephen Williams. Second row will be made up by Michael Skurlock and Ruben Phelps. Third row will be Edward Foster and Lachlan Urquio. Row 4 will be Dave Douglas and Matthew Raymond. Norman Clark and Tom Neal will make up row 5. Luke Jordanson and Brad Finley make up row 6. Row 7 is Wesley Closley and Mirko Dortnak in the Toyota TRD livery. And then making up row 8, the last row, will be Noddy Tompkins and Nathan Rullock. Now, I had a bit of a talk to the drivers earlier, and in terms of fuel, there was 2 schools of thought. We're not really sure. Not really sure if they're going to be able to make it all the full distance on fuel. So we're not sure if the tank's going to allow them to do 150 laps on fuel only, or whether they might just need a splash. But they did think that you won't make it home on tyres. So if the race was to go green from here to the end of all 150 laps, I'd expect that we'd see drivers come in and grab at least one set of tyres and perhaps just take a splash of fuel if they need it. But if we get cautions, that will mix it up and sort of put people on different windows there. And I think if you've done maybe 30, 40 laps and you get a caution, you'd probably want to come in and grab a set of tyres. Of course, they will have 3 spare sets of tyres to use. And they're just rolling around pacing lap now. And once the pace car pulls off, Josh McCall will be able to go into the Geico restart zone and start the race. If you see the Geico zone at the back there on the wall. Feels pretty slow at the moment. The pit car speed's about 65 kilometres an hour. As they bunch up, as the pace car peels off, and Josh Mickelmore will get into the start zone there and start the race. Fairly nice and even start there from the 31 and the 98, and the 98 is going to carry the momentum on the outside and take over the lead. As the 350 is going to have a little look down the bottom line there. Not such a... It looked like a good start for the 31, but perhaps it wasn't such a good start. The 98 managed to get past on the outside, and the 350 looking to get past on... Actually have a crack at the lead on the bottom. Although there goes the momentum of the outside line with the 31, and then the 53 of Foster behind him as well. So we see a good battle there. Typically with this track, you do tend to, as the tyres wear, you do tend to sort of drift out to that high line and keep that momentum. It's not so hard on the tyres running that inside line. Running the outside line is not hard on the tyres, whereas running the inside line is a bit harder. But as the temperatures sort of warm up and you find the car on the low line will tend to push up on the outside anyway, so that's why you stick to the high line. So we've got a good battle here between Stephen Williams in the 98 and Skurlock in the 350. Still battling side by side for the lead here. Get a good sense of the speed that the cars are carrying through the corners there. So through the corners there, they're entering at about 200 mile an hour. Sorry, 200 mile an hour. Might be mile an hour, 200k an hour. We'll have a look. Just realised I've got a graphic for that. Yeah, kilometres an hour. And then you see they carry that momentum through the corner, and they only drop down to about 170 kilometres an hour in the corner. So only about a 30-kilometre difference in speed. Just goes to show just how fast this track is and how you just keep that speed up constantly. Of course, lap times are about 15 seconds, 15 and a half seconds, so the majority of this lap you're actually turning. The straights are actually very, very short. I think you spend about 3/4 of the lap actually turning. So they're still going side by side for the lead here. See Williams just keeping that momentum on the outside line going through. I'd like to jump back and have a little look at how the rest of the field's faring, but I know that as soon as I jump back, one of these cars will get clear of the other one, and we would have missed it. Just see with this zoomed out camera view just how much the momentum on the outside and the 98 carries off the corner. And Skerlock in the 350 is just not able to keep enough speed on that low line. Racing with plenty of respect as well, so they're not wanting to get any contact this early in the race or go near each other. You can just see there the 350, when he gets a good run on that low line, the 98 just uses that momentum on the high side just to bring it back past. So 350 might be clear. He might be able to clear him in another lap. They head into turn 1 and 2. The 350 seems to be a bit stronger, although it's a good run this time for the 98. He just still can't quite clear him. We'll have a little look through the field and see there's a bit of a gap. We've got the top 3 cars there. They've sort of cleared out. They've sort of pulled about a second and a half on the 4th place car, and I think the 350 there has decided he's just going to sit back and save his tyres for a little bit and maybe cool tyres down a bit and have another bit of a crack at the 98 at a later time. But if we jump back here and we see Mickelmore is just sort of out there on his own at the moment. He's got 1.6 seconds to the car in front and then another 0.6 of a second to the car behind him. And Dave Douglas riding there in 5th place at the moment. Field's all pretty spread out at the moment. Everyone's sort of just not battling too hard at this stage. As we jump back up to the front, as we see again the 350 having another bit of a crack here at the 98. This is the closest battle for position on track at the moment. And now we see the 53 is riding that outside line, using that momentum. He's going to come up and possibly have a bit of a crack at the 350 as well. Just have a little bit of a look here. Noddy Tompkins in 14th place here, battling the 20 car of Brad Fenley for 14th and 15th position there. See Mirko's coming to the pits. I think he's got right side damage there. He's taken a bit of a hit into the wall. Did notice in practice there were a number of cars that had right side damage, so the car's obviously pushing very tough, going out to the wall and collecting the wall and causing damage on the right front. So at the front we've got the 98 of Stephen Williams out there in front, holding that high line, using it well, keeping the momentum up, doing a really good job. I think this is one of his stronger tracks. I know, having raced a lot of these guys, the three guys that jumped straight to the top of my brain that I've raced who have been very strong at Bristol is the 98 of Williams, the 53 of Foster, the 10 of Douglas as well. But I know that, yeah, you can't rule out the 31 of Micklemore, and 350 of Skurlock as well is also very strong. '53 is just closing up on the back of the 98 there. Of course, it's one thing to catch a car, it's another thing to pass it. I think as we've seen, with the 350 struggling to get past on the low line, the 98's certainly not going to give away the high line. So you're going to have to try and pass them on the low line. But that's shown to be pretty tough to do. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. Looked like a bit of netco or something. That seemed a bit weird. Let's see if we can jump back and have a little bit of look there and sort of see what happened. Just have a look here. Pretty clear up there. Come down. Oh, look at that. That's what can you say, really? Except that's just incredibly bad luck and pretty frustrating as a driver. If you see here, there's plenty of space between the two cars, and then you see the damage to the right rear, and then you see the 98 take a hit in the front, even though he is miles away. So, back there alive now. The 98 has come into the pits to get some repairs done. Depending on how much damage he's had done hitting that wall there, that's a real shame because he was looking very, very good and strong out the front there. Yeah, it looks like he's taking it behind the wall, I'm not sure, but he's already lost 3 laps, 15-second laps. Doesn't take long to go down a number of laps, but yeah, that's really unfortunate for Stephen Williams there. He's having a really great run, and yeah, as we saw on that replay, that looked like there was plenty of room between the cars. Yep, I have to agree, Abigail. That was pretty bad netco. That's yeah, it's netcode like that is a real shame, because on short tracks you are going to be racing really close, and you need to be close and sort of bumping, and that's short track racing. But when you get netcode like that, and it wrecks a car like that, it's what can you do? You know, it's very frustrating. As we see, so that has allowed the 53 to jump out into the front there. So Foster's got a half-second lead to Michael Skurlock in the 350. Skurlock's still running the low line, which, yeah, majority of the drivers, he's got a bit of damage on the right front as well. But yeah, most of the drivers are running the high line. We can see the 31 of Micklemore, he's now catching up to the 350. And I think Skurlock is sort of searching around for a line that suits, that he can get going, because he's now setting it up on the high line there. Micklemore on the 31, he's going to make the pass on the inside. And Dave Douglas on the 10 is going to make the pass as well. A third spot. So it does look like the 31 and the 10 are sort of coming. They might have just been taking a little bit easy in those first couple of laps just to save their tyres a bit. So I'll just jump back here and have a look. The rest of the field's pretty spread out. I'm just sort of having a look to see sort of time-wise. Got a bit of a run here. We've got Matty Ray in the 83 car in 6th spot. Lachlan Urquio, the 42. Tom Neal in the 38, and Luke Georgeson in the 274. So they're all sort of pretty close to each other. No real, not looking to make the pass at the moment. Driving as fast as they can, but all pretty close. And Noddy Tompkins has made the pass of Brad Finlay. Noddy's now running in 11th. Brad Finlay in 12th. Nathan Rawlock in 13. Wesley Closley in 14th position. Chuck it on the static camera and see if we can crank it up a little bit. You get a good sense of how fast cars are going and the speed with these wall-mounted static cameras here. And we're starting to see cars go a lap down now. Wesley Closley has gone 1 lap down in 14th position. And I dare say Nathan Rawlock and Brad Finlay and Noddy Tompkins will be in danger of going down pretty soon as well. Lap times, we've dropped about a second in lap times. So leader's running 16.4 the last lap. Foster has put Nathan Rawlock a lap down there, and he continues to march on. Jump on board here with Foster for a few laps of Bristol. So over the start finish line, heading into turn 1. Down the back straight into turn 3, turn 4, and that's a 16-second lap of Bristol. And you can hear the throttle there, it's not on for very much. You can hear when he gets onto the throttle in the middle of the corner and out of it, and then when he lets off down the straight. Bristol is one of my personal favourite tracks because it's a really great momentum track. See here, Foster's just coming up to lap the 20 car of Brad Finlay. Brad gets out of the way there, doesn't make it too hard. So we're 60 laps now, coming up to 60 laps of 150. It's going pretty quick, but 15-second laps do tend to do that. We can see the blue car of Josh Mickelmore. They're just starting to close the gap a little bit. So Mickelmore has definitely visually closed the gap there, so he is looking pretty strong at this part of the track here. Now I would say, depending on what their strategy is going to be, we're likely to see this race go green to the end. So in which case, do you just pit at lap 75, split it in half evenly, get a little splash of fuel if you need it, and get get a full set of tires, fresh tires. Come back out. Of course, if you do it before anybody else, you'll have a bit of a 1 second sort of, or maybe 1 to 1.5 second undercut. And if the leaders don't go with you, then you'll get that gain. As we're just seeing, looks like Michael Skurlock is coming in to the pits. I'm not sure if this is going to be a regular scheduled stop or not, because this car does have a bit of damage to it. Of course, it feels like a crawl down pit lane when you're doing 60, 63, 64 kilometers an hour. And we do have dual pits in play as well, so you do have to actually come in and go through both pits. So each side of the track on the straights has a set of pit boxes, that's the word I'm looking for. And with the dual pit setup, you actually have to do a full trip around that. So what that means is when you do a green flag stop like this, you are going to drop at least 3 to 4 laps. As we see Skurlock is in the pits there. He's got tyres. Looks like he's getting a bit of repairs done as well. He may have got what we call a meatball flag, which is when you get a flag with damage that you have no option, you have to have repaired. If you don't come in and repair it, you will get penalised. So he may have had a meatball flag and had to come in and get some repairs done for that. Or not, he's just going to park it for the night. He's got too much damage and decided he's not going to be able to contend for the win. As you see back up the front here, Micklemore is now right on the back of Foster. And Dave Douglas is just behind them. He's just dropped back a bit now. He's as this run's gone on, he's sort of just lost a little bit of pace there and then dropped back to maybe about a couple of seconds. So far we've had 3 cars retire. Mirko Dorfnack, Stephen Williams and Michael Skurlock. As we're seeing a few cars on pit lane now. Nathan Rawlock on the 85 and Luke Georgeson in the 274. Once again, really long pit stops, so not sure if they're just getting damaged repaired or whether they're deciding to park the car or not. But that also looks like that's Ruben Phelps coming in. Ruben was running up near in the top 5. Or pretty close to it. So Ruben's coming in, getting the stop there. 4 tyres. So he's one of the first ones that just over the halfway mark who's come in. So Ruben's going to come out and see what he can do with the undercut. He's going to obviously hope that it stays green now because he has lost 2 laps. 2 laps of time there to the leaders by putting under green. So yeah, Ruben will be wanting it to stay green to play out so that he can get those laps back when the leader does pit. And with the undercut, he will hopefully take over the lead. Back up front, we've just still got the 53 and the 31 just riding there. Luke Georgeson here, that's a good example of the fresh tyres. The 274 Luke Georgeson, he's 5 laps down but he's on fresh tyres. So he just sticks it down the inside and just drives away from the leaders there. Luke's time at last lap was a 15.8, the leader's time was a 16.7, so and that was with Luke was impeded by traffic there a little bit as well, so 15.6, so about 1 second faster. As we see Dave Douglas is coming into the pits now. See the stop for Dave. Now I can't really talk Dave up too much at the moment because every time I seem to talk him up a bit, the unfortunate happens and he gets taken out in a wreck or loses internet connection or something like that. So I can't really talk Dave up at the moment, but he's having a pretty solid run tonight. As he's blending back out onto the track there. So he's come back out in front of Ruben Phelps in the 06. So that is a battle for position between the 10 car and the 06 because they are the ones that have pitted and got fresh tyres as they're just making their way through the leaders. You see the 53 and the 31 staying high there, and the 10 and the 06. I always like to see when drivers do a different strategy to what everybody else is doing, the normal one. Like I do like to see people take the gamble with the undercut and set payoff for them. We saw that last week in the Cup race with Barry Neal grabbing the win in the Cup Series last Thursday night with a strategy. Cool. And oh, Tom Neal in the 38 car there just disappeared for a little bit. His internet. He dropped him out from the server, then back in. I was a bit worried that he was just gone. But up the front, we still see the 53 and the 31 staying out. I would say that the 31's pretty much probably going to just copy what the 53 does. I think if the 53 pits, I think the 31 will follow with him. It looks like these two, as Noddy Tompkins has just pitted from third place. And it's okay. No, he might have pitted. I'm not sure. Timing, what the timing data is doing there. But I think no. So Noddy hasn't pitted. So there's only 3 cars out on track who haven't pitted. The 53, the 31, and then Noddy Tompkins in the 80. Everybody else has pitted. As we see Mick Ward having a real good go at Foster there. So late in this run, 31 might be starting to think about a pit stop, so he might be trying to do some really good quick in laps, use the absolute last that he can out of those tyres. Use them up as much as he can because he knows he's probably going to come in and grab a new set soon. As we see the 83 of Matty Ray come through on the inside to unlap himself from one of his laps. That's the advantage of fresh tyres there as well. Just keeping an eye on this battle. I just really want to see, I don't want to miss when these guys go into the pits. But just looking for the data. Field's still pretty well spread out, some big gaps. I think Matty Ray has just passed Noddy Tompkins for 5th place. It'll be just up ahead of the leaders. As the leaders are sort of buried around quite a bit of traffic. A 38 car down the low on the bottom side, the low side there, just looking to unlap himself from one of his laps. That will take him from being 2 laps down to 1 lap down. And the 274 is going to do the same. And 31 makes a dive to the inside there of the 53. Oh. See there, Douglas in the 10 car coming back around. Douglas is about to unlap himself and get back onto the lead lap. So it feels like just a minute ago that Dave unlapped himself from 2 laps down, and then, but yeah, of course it would make sense if he's about 1 second or more faster on a lap. If it's 15-second lap, it only takes 15 laps for you to get back around again. So we now have 3 cars back on the lead lap. Yeah, I thought they would put it lap 102 Abigail, but not sure. I don't know if they have been fuel saving and maybe they think they can make it to the end completely. That's a possibility, that maybe they're looking at doing no pit stop. If that's the case, then we just need to keep an eye on Dave Douglas there on his pit stop, and even Ruben Phelps. Just having a little look at how far behind Ruben's is. Well, Ruben's in that pack there with them as well. So Ruben's about to come through and unlap himself again and put himself on the lead lap again as well. That's right, I'm always wrong. I always have ideas of what they might be doing and they always prove me wrong. But I think if they haven't pitted yet, I think they're going to stick it out. That's maybe what they were doing early on. They were sort of just fuel saving to make sure they got into the window of being able to get home. And they're just not going to pit. So now we just need to see if Douglas can keep closing that gap before his tyres drop off. And see if he's got enough tyre life left to be able to get back past them one more time. So we see 75 of Wesley Closely. Gets a little bit sideways off turn 4 there. Wesley's looking to come through and grab a lap back. He is currently 5 laps down. So you see 31 of Mickelmore is sort of backed off a little bit at the moment. Just have a little look at Douglas here, sort of closing the gap now, under 7.5 seconds to the leader. And Speedway Closer gets one of his laps back. Josh Mickelmore's chopped off a bit. Dave Douglas is sort of still coming through. See there, the 80 car of Tompkins just gets out of his way. Ruben Phelps. Ruben is catching, but just not at the same rate that Dave is. Another good solid run for Norman as well in 7th position. Brad Finlay's got himself up into 8th spot. So Lockie's had a bit of an issue. He's chopped 8 laps. Let's just see if we can find what's happened to Lockie. I'll quickly grab a replay of that. Sort of, we're keeping watching an eye on Dave Douglas catching up there as well. So this is Lockie here. Lockie's dropped 8 laps somewhere, but I'm not sure where or how. Just sort of fast forward a little bit. No, I can't really see, can't really tell what's happened to Lockie there. Just just quickly go there, and then we'll come back to the Dave Douglas catching the leaders. So this is where Lockie was here, and it's okay there. He's got a little bit of contact with the wall, but that's about it. Weird. I'm not sure what's happened there, but we jump back to live now, and as we've got Douglas is now 3 seconds behind the leaders. His lap times are starting to drop a bit though. He's running about a 16.1 or 16.2 that last lap. Leaders are running 16.7, and Mickmore actually ran a 17. So Josh looks like he's having to sort of drop off, save his tyres, or save his tyres, or save a bit of fuel to make it to the end. So we've done 120 of 150 laps. And we see here the 10 of Dave Douglas is looking to make the move on to the 31. And he gets that done on the inside. So now Douglas has got 2 seconds to go to catch Edward Foster in the lead. And you can see here the gap closing up. The 85 of Nathan Rawlock. So doing a bit of a diamond on the corner there. So the lap times are really starting to flatten out for Douglas here now. He's up to a 16.4. So, and Foster's last lap time was a 16.7. It was a 53, has a little bit of trouble with traffic there, just caught the ANZCAR just at the wrong spot. He's managed to get a bit of a diamond on the corner there and get good drive out of it. Just checking on Phelps's progress there, he's kind of stalled out a little bit at 16.6 was his last lap time, and he's kind of stalled out about that 9.2 mark in terms of behind, as we see Douglas now starting to have a real good look at the inside of 53 Foster. This is for the lead of the race. Foster has tyres that are 129 laps old, and Douglas has tyres that are 46 laps old. But the lap times have really evened out in the last couple of laps. They're pretty much running the same lap times now. Go side by side. So Douglas has had to drive pretty hard to get back to the front. Has he got a little bit left in the tyre wear? As he looks like he's going to clear another corner, and it's cleared, and that's Douglas and the 10 cars taken over the lead from Foster in the 53. There's a 75, looks to try and get past the 53 as well. It's a little bit awkward there, he needs to sort of get out of the way a little bit. Bit unfortunate timing there, but that's sort of allowed Douglas to clear out. Unfortunately, 75 probably just sort of might need to just stay out of that a little bit and just let those two sort of battle a bit and see if the 53 had any way of sort of getting back to the 10, but never mind. And here goes the 75. He's going to unlap himself around the outside. Tell you what, if I was a 10, I'd be a bit worried. That 75 car is 9 laps down, so I'd let him go. Let the 75 go and just concentrate on keeping your car nice and clean and hit your marks and give yourself a bit of a gap. So Foster has settled into second spot there with a bit of lap traffic around him. Josh Mickelmore in third position, now 4.8 seconds back. Now, he was right up there with Foster, but he sort of dropped off, so I'm not sure if that's going to be tyre heat or whether that's going to be just needing to save a bit of fuel. And Ruben Phelps, also the second of the cars to have pitted, now still sitting in fourth spot, 8.7 seconds back. Matty Ray, let's have a look at Matty Ray's car. He's infamous in ANZCAR circles for keeping a clean car, starting at the back and working his way up towards the front with a nice clean car, and it looks like his car is clean again tonight, and he is in fifth position. And let's see, he's up only 3 spots tonight. I think he qualified for a change. He doesn't normally qualify, but it's always good to see. As he's starting to sort of eye up the back of the 06 car there, and it looks like he's going to try and make a pass. It's a good drive off the corner. And Matty Ray in the 83 is going to take over the 4th position, and he'll have his eyes now on Mickelmore, who's just under 2 seconds down the road, or just over a second now. 10 laps to go. He might be a good chance getting himself a top 3. Good solid run for Tom Neal tonight in 6th position. And Norman Clark as well, having a really good run in 7th. Brad Finlay, another solid top 10. And 8th, Luke Jordan currently running in 9th. There's a bit of a gap between these guys, so more than likely, unless they crash, they're pretty much going to be sitting in those same spots. Jump back up the front here. So Dave Douglas has really got himself into a good groove here. 2.3 seconds ahead of of Foster in 2nd spot there. As Mickelmore has dropped back down to 5th. So Josh has dropped 2 spots all of a sudden. So he's really losing time pretty quickly now. I'm not sure if that's tyres or fuel, whether he's saving for fuel or not. But he's in danger of dropping to 6th spot. Tom Neal looking to get past him, I would say, by the end of the race. As we're now under 4 laps to go. Have a little look here and see if Tom Neal is going to be able to jump up and take that top 5 position with Mickelmore. We're fairly spread out at the moment. As we're coming up to the last lap. Douglas comes around, does a little bit of a drift off turn 4 there and takes the win. Foster coming home in 2nd. Matty Ray is going to come around and grab 3rd. Followed by Ruben Phelps. And Tom Neal did get past Mickelmore there, and so solid top 5 for Tom Neal there. And Mickelmore brings it home in 6th position. So another caution-free race with a bit of a attrition rate for a number of cars having incidents and being knocked out, unfortunately. As Dave Douglas is burning them down. Dave's pretty happy about that one. Going to do a Polish victory lap now. So while Dave's doing his Polish victory lap, we will show you the results. So, of course, taking out the win in first place was Dave Douglas. Ed Foster in second, Matthew Raven in third, Ruben Phelps in fourth, Tom Neal in fifth, Josh Malcolmore sixth, Norman Clark in seventh, Brad Finlay in eighth, Luke Georgeson in ninth, and Noddy Tompkins in 10th. Lachlan Ukio in 11th position there, Nathan Rawlock in 12th, and Wesley Closley in 13th, Michael Skillock in 14th, Stephen Williams in 15th, and Mirko Dortnack in 16th. As Dave's having more burnouts. So what we might do is might just have a little look and see if we've got anyone in the green room ready to go. Don't have Matty Ray at the moment. Dave's doing the full tour now. He's driving backwards down that road. Right, so let's see if we can find some of the action. See if we can find ourselves some drivers. We have got Matty Ray. Let's grab Matty Ray up here. Let's try and grab him anyway. Matty Ray, this is Matt Hunter in the broadcast booth here. How you going?
G'day, man. How are you?
Good, good. Good solid night for you tonight. Work your way up. You actually qualified tonight.
Yeah. Well, I got a message from Lockie, apparently from Hamish, who's like, I want you to qualify, Matty, so I can have a battle with you. So I thought, I'll bugger it, I'll do it. But then I realised he wasn't even here, so it was a bit of a waste. But
No,
yeah.
he's over your way. I think he's in Sydney this week.
Oh, is he? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. There you go then.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but he did all right though. Yeah, I think I started top 10, something like that.
Started late, yeah. Started late
Yeah.
and finished third, obviously, and up 5 positions.
Yeah, there we go. So not many spots tonight, but yeah, did all right. Got a podium.
That's good. That's good. So tell us about your race, your strategy, and did it all sort of go to plan, or did you have to make adjustments on the fly?
I was pretty lucky. I had about half a field in me Discord chat with Ruby and Lockie and all the rest of the SRM boys, and Micklemore was in there for a bit.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we all sort of just bounced off each other really, and just were talking with each other, so we knew what each other's sort of cars were doing.
Yeah.
And just went off that. But I thought I'd hang out sort of like an extra 10 laps past halfway, just to have that bit extra meat on the tyre. Because towards the long run, towards that end of that first run, it seemed to fall off real bad with about 10, 15 laps to go, and that was with saving. So
yeah,
well, yeah, if I wait that a little bit longer, then should be good. And yeah, it worked out just about right, I reckon.
yeah, we timed it pretty well. So Josh was in the chat there with you. He obviously going for the no stopper strategy.
Yeah, we didn't know that though. Like he came in through practice and hung out with us for a while, and yeah, started chatting whatnot. But yeah, well, we didn't sort of realise until I don't know, probably about lap 100 on. I sort of thought, yeah, maybe these boys aren't pitting. So
yeah,
and yeah, it was pretty good to catch up with Joshy. So yeah, it was all right. Had a good night.
excellent, excellent. All right, well, nice and short and sweet tonight. Because it's only just me, and I always forget what questions to ask. Usual thing of shout out and thanks to your sponsors and yeah, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, all the usual guys, like all the SRM crew, of course, and Scotty McLean at McLean Mechanical Repairs, John Larber down at Mobile Brake and Mechanical Repairs. We've got KL Crash, Mate of Auckland Hotel, and a fella that helps us out, Zach at Zactastic Modding. He cuts up all our logos and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, and of course, congrats to Ed for another dub. Was it Ed that won?
No,
Sorry,
Dave.
Dave.
Dave,
Dave won,
yeah.
didn't he? Yeah,
Yep.
double D wins. And yeah, Ed finishing second, so that's good. Bit
Excellent.
of old teammates there all finishing up the top, matey.
Yeah, well, there was a quick message in the chat. I only quickly saw it from Riley,
Was there? Yeah.
talking about how it was the top three like the old RCD days. So
Yeah, there we go.
yeah.
So, we were all on the same team like before. Would have been a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. No,
excellent.
killer.
All right. Well, I'll drop you back down and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
Edward Foster, Matt Hunter in the broadcast booth here. How you going?
Oh yeah,
Oh
bit
yeah.
bit disappointed, mate. But yeah, P2's not too bad.
Yeah, tell us about your race. Obviously, you went with the no-stop strategy.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I thought we were definitely going to get a caution at some point, but we could make it on fuel. So normally, your best serve sort of doing as few stops as you can, and today that was a zero stopper. Had no idea about the pace that Dave was making on the fresh tyres. Apart from, you know, when I saw him pop up with the fastest lap after he'd just come out of the pits, and then I sort of saw him pop up into second place, and I realised that he'd made his tyres hang on. You know, quite often you can undercut like that and sort of pit early and take those fresh tyres, but the tyres plateau eventually. And I would have thought that by the end of the race, the tyres would have plateaued a little bit, so Dave and I would be running a very similar pace. But no, yeah, that pace advantage there at the end, and we didn't get a caution, and yeah, it worked out for him. And so, yeah, second we are.
Excellent. Yeah, it did look like when he did catch up to you for the lead there, his times certainly sort of plateaued. You were sort of running the same times, but it looked like that might have been just because he was trying to find a way to get past you. Obviously, it wasn't ideal when he did get past you and a lap car was sort of in the way there. Did that really play that much of an impact for you? Were you going to be able to sort of fight back against Dave once he got past you, or was he sort of...
Nah.
No.
I had nothing. I was pitching him down as much as I could, as you would have seen.
Yeah.
Because that was really all I could do, is to hold him on the inside there, try and wear his rubber as much as I could, just to maybe try and even up the fight a little bit. Yeah, I mean, the lap cars in the way were kind of inconvenient, but they didn't change anything. And, you know, it's Bristol, you know.
Yeah.
Such a short track with such a short lap time, you're going to be around traffic. You've got to learn to deal with it. So you can't, get upset at a lapped car for existing. It's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, no, that is one of the things with Bristol as well. Yeah, as you say, you've got to be able to deal with traffic because at Bristol you will have traffic. And then obviously early on, but unfortunate, like I managed to see and get a good replay of the netcode incident between yourself and Stevie Williams. Yeah, that was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't really see it. I certainly didn't feel a touch. And the first I knew about it, he was in the pits and disconnected. I wasn't aware that we touched. I wasn't aware that anything had happened. My eyes were pretty much forward, and I didn't even notice that he wasn't second. I saw a car in my mirror, and I assumed it was him, still in second place, and it wasn't him. And then I've seen him disconnect, and that was all I knew about it. So,
yeah,
I didn't even feel any contact or anything. So. If you tell me it was netcode and something happened, then yeah, I'll believe you.
Yeah, no, it crumpled the back right-hand corner of your car, but then it came straight after us. So it was a pretty bad netcode example again, which is really annoying because it took out one of the, Steve Williams, who was running pretty strong at the start of the race. So yeah, he probably would have been a contender for that top 3, top 5 as well.
You'd say so, yeah. He was leading really well. So, I try to make a move while I still had fresh rubber, and while I managed to sort of get a decent run on him, and I knew that I wasn't going to get too many chances to get by him because he's running pretty good pace and he was running real well. So yeah, if there was a bit of netcode in there that stuck him in the fence, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, indeed. Oh well. Okay. Well, usual things. Shout outs to the sponsors and teammates and all the sort.
Yeah, just Fully Flawed and AJD, team sponsors, yourself for running the broadcast, everyone for coming out tonight. Bristol can be a little bit intimidating for people, I know that much. So it's not usually the most popular track, and it usually gets a bit of a small field. So congratulations to the guys that did come out, and we proved that we can run it. You know, it's the race ran caution free, 150 laps, so you don't get any cleaner than that. So thanks to all of them, and I guess that's about all. Until tomorrow night, we'll see what happens then.
Excellent. Yeah, of course, we're back here again tomorrow night in the Cup cars. So that should be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, it should be. I enjoy this track, so yeah, I enjoy coming around here. Hence why I'm here tonight. So
yeah, it's one of my favourites as well. Excellent. All right, well, I'll drop you back down and enjoy the rest of your night.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Dave Douglas, you are in the broadcast booth with Matt Hunter here. How are you going?
What's up, boys?
Pretty happy about it. Good. You pretty happy about that one?
Oh, mate, I'm happy because I haven't won one all season, right?
Yeah.
And ever since I started in ANZCAR, I've won at least one race during the season, and time was running out, mate. So better late than never, I guess. Just snuck one in here.
Indeed, it gets you a lock into the All-Star race.
That's it, mate. I've always been invited, and I thought this year was the year I wasn't going to get it. To be honest.
Yeah, well, you've had some bad luck. I made sure, not to talk you up too much.
I appreciate it.
Not until you sort of were about 3 seconds away from the lead that I sort of said we're a pretty good chance, you know. So,
Good man.
Because I've done perfect examples of commentators curse on you in the last few weeks. Excellent. Yeah. So. Yeah, it was really interesting to watch, and it's crazy when you got your tyres, you were 2 laps down, and it's funny where sort of focusing the cameras on the leaders, and you went past and got one of your laps back, and with the Bristol short lap, all of a sudden here you are again getting your other lap back, and so you were really motoring around there.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I was going with the top 2, Skirley dropped his tyres off and fell back a bit, and I thought I was just saving him with Josh there for a bit at the start of the race. And then me and Josh sort of picked up the pace to try and just bridge that gap to Edward. And then I lost the pace then, so they started pulling away, and it was over a second. And I thought, well, if I'm going to stop, now's the time. And I thought I had a pretty big gap behind me, and I thought if they stop, I'll stay out. If they don't stop, I'll go in. So eventually I just said, boys, what should I do? Should I go in? And they said, yeah. Give me false answers, mate, I reckon. So I was like, well, I'll do it. So I jumped in, and lo and behold, mate, if you forget that, you think 2 laps down, you think, well, how the hell am I going to get 2 laps back? But then you realise that Bristol's only a 14, 15 second lap time. You go, ooh, here we go. We're motoring here.
Yeah, it was crazy because, and likewise as well, I realised, that you're over a second a lap faster. So, in 15 laps, you're coming back around again, you get another lap, so.
Yeah, exactly right. And I guess what the thing was, maybe Pip, was my spotter called out and said, you're wearing your right front out. So I thought, that's about halfway of the tyre, and it's just over halfway. If I use it anymore, I'm probably not going to make it. It'll probably give me a black flag. So I thought, let's just risk it.
Excellent. Well, it was a great strategy call indeed. Yeah. You still had pace to burn. You ended up with 4.2 seconds ahead of Foster at the end there. So.
Well, credit to Edward, because man, he held onto them tyres. When I caught up, he dropped Josh like a stone, I think, and then he held on. So he did really well to have that speed at the end of the race, at least anyway.
Yeah, he did. It was interesting because when you did catch him for that lead there, your times did even out a little bit as you were sort of battling there, but you were able to sort of just pull away a little bit. But yeah, you were, for that whole stint, you were faster for a lot of it, and then all of a sudden it sort of caught up and evened out a bit. But
because I figured when we're going for the pass, I probably could have ran a bit harder, but like to run nice and clean, have a good battle. So I saved it up a little bit, just ran the inside. He was running me tight, he was going, he's got to do, because it's the lead of the race, so he's got to run me tight. And I just didn't want to wash up and take him out or anything like that. So, but yeah, it was a good little battle. Always a good battle with Ed.
Excellent. And of course, Riley jumped into the chat and said that it was an old RCD podium. So with yourself, Foster, and Raymond. So
right. That's the old school, mate. Old nostalgia, mate.
Yeah. So
Riley, shout out Riley. I'm not running his paint tonight. I thought, he won't watch, mate. I'll just run the Super tonight. The old reality paint, get that out. So that might be the thing, mate. I've got no paint. I've got no pink on the other car. And so maybe it's the pink's my colour, mate. So maybe I'll have to change up a bit.
Yeah. No, it's a pretty good looking car with the pink Danica number 10, you know. So.
Oh, mate, stop it.
Excellent. All right. Well, usual chance to do shout outs to sponsors and thank teammates and stuff.
Yeah, just shout out to obviously the BMX Bandits. Been a bit quiet. Well, none of us has done any good lately, so good to finally get a result for the guys. And shout out to Luke. He's on his holiday over in Europe somewhere, in Finland or something like that. But anyway,
testing for McLaren.
Yeah, something like that.
Every driver that goes over Europe's testing for McLaren nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. I don't know why you want to go there, but anyway, that's another story. Yeah, shout out to ANZCAR and you, Matty, for putting on the show on your own. Unfortunately, at the moment, might have to come and knock on the door, mate. Give you a hand at some point, eh?
It's all right. I mean, you know, it's you got to swim, so you jump in the deep end. You got to swim, so.
That's it. And just, last but not least, shout out Sim Boys.
Yeah, I haven't seen those guys for a while. We've seen Gary, but yeah. Yeah.
That's good, mate. That's a good thing. You don't want to see too much of the Sim Boys, mate. That's a scary thought.
We should put a demo derby on and get them in.
Oh, they'll be up for that, mate, for sure.
Excellent. All right, well, I'll drop you back down and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Oh, Matty, I should say. There's no boys up here, so yeah, cheers, and get the win.
And you racing tomorrow night?
Yeah, that's why I come out tonight. I thought I'll get a little warm up here, just because Bristol's a different beast, mate, and we haven't run it on the concrete. So
yeah,
I'd come out and get some laps in and see what we can do tomorrow night.
Excellent. All right, we'll go well tomorrow then.
Sounds good. Cheers, mate. See you, bro.
And there you have it. So there is the interviews with your top 3 drivers tonight. So we'll just chuck back up the results grid to run through that again, just for your top 10. Of course, it was Dave Douglas in first, Edward Foster in second, Matty Raven third, Reuben Phelps fourth, Tom Neal in fifth, Josh Mickelmore in sixth, Norman Clark in seventh, Brad Finlay in eighth, Luke Jordanson in ninth, and Nod Tompkins in 10th. So let's just have a look at this. So having a look towards next week, we will be back here on Performance D Streaming and ANZCAR Facebook page. It will be the 5th race of the season, 100 laps at Texas Motor Speedway, so 1.5. So we will be there, same bat time, same bat channel. Yeah, I think that covers it all for tonight. So thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your night.